Namaste, आप सभी को, every ladies and gentlemen here who are here to watch our show, and a very good evening to all of you. I'm Kavita Apurva Verma, and it is actually my proud privilege to be your host this evening on behalf of our fantabulous Zena family, which is evolving gradually and in a very steady way. And you will definitely agree that we are in a transition era where we have an unending quest towards the good, better, and the best. And I have always believed that the best and the worst are yet to come. Another belief that I have, आप मरे बिना स्वर्ग नहीं मिलता. Isn't that true? That unless we ourselves die, we will not reach the heaven, isn't it? So, why I'm talking about this is that tonight, with this heart to heart, we step into a conversation that goes beyond our quest of good, better, best. It's very simple. It's about making the world a better place to live in. And honestly speaking, we are the people who can make it better. But then we need a mentor, we need a guide, we need a torch, we need a light who can tell us how to move about, how to go about this. And definitely, this show will give us insights towards making things better, help us find our own better and the best, isn't it? So, I take this proud privilege to let you be introduced to Lieutenant Colonel Pradeep Khare, who's our guest for the day. He's a veteran, author, TEDx speaker, YouTuber, and founder learning from legend. Phew, oh my God. I'm actually honored to have him here. And he has served in the Indian Army for 20 years and then took voluntary retirement in 2000. And presently he's settled in Noida. And he has published 12 motivational books in which real life experiences and inspirational stories, anecdotes, and tips for becoming better and preparation for facing SSB are published. And also running a motivational YouTube channel in which more than 300 sessions are there, which is named Guldasta. And he delivered his first TEDx talk on the subject, age is just a number. And actually for him also, age is just a number, honestly. And in May 2021, this first TEDx took place. And in second TEDx talk on 18th April 2026, it was on mental wellness. Conducting online and offline programs for students of schools and colleges, learning from legends and becoming better, which is really an innovative concept, I believe. The more you will listen to the show, you will understand what I'm talking about. And honestly, let me tell you, he's 75 years younger. And by God's grace, touchwood, he has not been admitted to any hospital till date. His mission is to make this world a better place to live in. So that's what we are going to aim at, right? So let's understand how we can make this world a better place to live in. So, sir, could you please tell us something about you?
Good evening, everyone. Namaste. It's my proud privilege to be on this show, and I'm thankful to Kavita ma'am for saying such great words about me. I think I hardly deserve the generous introduction which she has given, and I'm grateful to you, ma'am, for all the kind words which you have said. Well,
So, sir, yes, sir.
As you said, to start with, I belong to Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. I had my education there, born, brought up, educated there, and finally I joined the army in 1979. I was commissioned. Thereafter, after serving for 20 long years, I took voluntary retirement in the year 2000, after which I was into writing of motivational books and running the YouTube channel, also delivering TEDx talks, 2 of them, and also we are running these sessions, learning from legends and becoming better for the students of schools and colleges.
That's wonderful.
And every day is a blessing of God for me.
Absolutely, sir. So, in this show, we would like to just segregate into two parts mainly. That's how it's going to help our viewers. Number one, about your book history. Book history, as in the way you have written the books and how people can take it forward to be happy for their own selves, make their lives better. And secondly, you are a TEDx speaker, so how they can go about it. So majorly we'll discuss about them. So sir, I would request you to kindly share something about your books on real inspiring stories, because that has really fascinated me. So if you can share something about them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. In fact, these stories are the real stories of people who have struggled against all odds and achieved success in their lives. And each of these books, one is Real Inspiring Stories, the second one is called Game Changers, the next one is called Torch Bearers, another one has these stories, Unsung Heroes.
Wow.
So all these books contain 51 stories each. And these are the real stories of people. We have put the photographs of the person and a story of about 2 pages in each case. Now, these stories are divided into different categories. Like we have a category of academic achievers, those who have done good in academics against all odds. There is another category of people who have done well in sports, another category of people who have done good in business, another category where tribal women who have done very good work in spite of not being educated. There is another section of good Samaritans, as we call them, people who have done very good work for society, helping others, doing good for the society. There are stories of people who have been cancer survivors, survivors of AIDS, TB, who have healed themselves with medication and positive thinking. There are stories of people who have transformed themselves, like somebody who was a criminal and later on he became a very nice gentleman. So all these stories always inspire us and give a message that if they can do it, why can't I do it?
Perfect, perfect, sir. So, sir, suppose if somebody wants to publish a book or become a published author, so how would you guide them? What would you suggest to them? What he or she should do if you want to become a published author?
Yes, very good question indeed. In fact, so many people have been asking me this question, and it's good that through this show, people will get to know from my experience whatever I know about it. I am no authority on the subject, but still, whatever I know, I can share with people. First of all, there are many people of all ages who aspire to become a published author these days. So, my honest advice to them would be that first you choose your genre, the subject on which you want to write a book, whether it is fiction, non-fiction, it's a poem, travelogue, whatever subject you choose. There are thousands of subjects on the earth. Then, after choosing your subject, you should at least read 10 books on that subject. There are books available online, offline, everywhere. So you get to know how people have written on that subject, how people have expressed those their views, and maybe in that process you will also be able to crystallize your thoughts. And while reading the books, I would suggest that you should observe the presentation, the expression, the language which the authors have used. You can learn a lot from them. Then, once you finalize your theme, then prepare the chapters accordingly. Because before you start writing a book, even if it's a novel or fiction, non-fiction, whatever, you should formulate the chapter, whether you want to have 10 chapters, 20 chapters, 15 chapters, whatever, depending on the extent of your work. You classify the chapters so that after that, start writing the content of each chapter thoughtfully. Because once you've got the chapter heading, then in that you think about it and keep on writing whatever is focused on that particular chapter. If it's a novel, then you go sequentially what is happening in the story, whatever the plot, accordingly you introduce some surprise, introduce some element of suspense in that, make it interesting, twists and turns, all that. Then read it twice and correct any mistakes. Here I would advise you, once we write something in the flow of thoughts, sometimes it happens that there is some spelling mistake, grammatical mistake, or something else, or you can take the help of AI also these days to refine your writing. But don't start with AI. Don't be dependent on AI, because so many people say, I want to write a thriller, crime thriller, and AI will produce a crime thriller. But that is not something which we are wanting you to do. You should have some originality of thoughts. Only then you will have the satisfaction of writing something and publishing it. After you've written that, then ask your friend or a teacher to review the manuscript and make some suggestions or corrections. After that, then you confirm. After reading it once again, you should see whether what you've written, does it convey what you want to convey, or sometimes you write something and it conveys a different meaning to the reader. So there you can make some corrections.
Right.
Another thing is ensure that your work is original. Otherwise, it will be punishable under plagiarism. You don't copy it from anywhere. Don't take it from the internet. Internet is full of material in all subjects. But don't copy paste. That's not a good idea. And if possible, ask some published author to review your manuscript and follow his advice and suggestions. Because there are people who will advise you who have published books. They will tell you how to go about it in a proper way. Once you finalize your script, then there are two ways of publishing the book. One is self-publication, which is most common these days, and another is traditional publication. Now I'll tell you the main difference. In self-publication, if you see the net, there are so many, I would say, publishers who are doing business in this field. They just have packages. One package of 40,000, one package of 50,000, one package of 2 lakhs. In that, whatever you write, they will publish it. Maybe they'll modify it, they'll correct it depending on the packages. And after that, they'll hand over the books to you. That these are the books published, whatever number of copies you opt for as per the package. And then it's your job to sell the books or distribute them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put on Amazon maybe, but on Amazon also, unless the author is instrumental in promoting the book, Amazon will not do anything. The other one is traditional publication. In traditional publication, there are some publishers who take the manuscript, means you have to submit the manuscript by email to them. This is what I have done. All my books have been published by traditional publication method. In that, what we do is I send the synopsis of the book by email to various publishers. Now the publisher has got an editorial committee or a board. So they will go through the manuscript. They'll take time, maybe 2, 3, 4 months, and then they will decide whether it is worth publishing or not. If it is worth publishing, then they will get back to the author and reply that we are going to publish this book. We will give you a royalty of so many percent, approximately 10% every year. They don't charge any money from the author. Remember this. Whereas in the case of self-publication, you have to pay a lump sum to the publisher. Here, in case of traditional publication, they not only publish your book, invest the money in that, but also they distribute the book to different dealers wherever they have in the country. Also, they put it up on various Amazon, Flipkart, etc. So in traditional publication, you get the royalty every month for whatever books are sold. In addition to that, the author can also make a promotion on social media, which is very important because all the aspiring authors, these days social media is playing a big role. So you should promote your book on social media as vigorously as possible. Another thing is try to get pre-publication orders, giving 10 to 20% discount on author-signed copies. Initially, you can say, make a declaration about a month or so in advance before publication, and you can get some pre-publication orders like this.
Fantastic. That really sounds like a plan. I mean, it's a perfect roadmap for the budding authors to come up with their new books. And it's really a pragmatic approach that you've taken up to explain each and everything towards the traditional part and the going through the Amazon way and self-publication and all that. It's really nice. So you have published a book which titles 101 Ways of Becoming Better, I believe. So
Yes.
Could you just explain us about that book, or if you can just narrate what is the gist of that book?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, this is the book which was very dear to my heart. So many points I observed in schools and colleges. We are teaching so many academic subjects to the students, but we are not telling them some basic things which are required for life. For example, how to face failure, how to face criticism. Almost everyone has to face these things, but nobody teaches them in school or even the family. Then how to be a good listener, how to avoid procrastination, how to say no, how to use social media to your advantage. So all these things I have covered in that book, topics like this, and there are 101 small chapters, about 1 page each. And these are the kinds of topics which I take when I take sessions with students of schools and colleges.
Okay, great, great. And there's another book. The name fascinated me. Feeling better no matter what.
Mhm.
So, I mean, what is it all about? Because all of us want to feel better. We just
Yes.
don't want to crib over what has gone through and whatever it is. So, what is that book about?
Yes, it's called Feeling Great No Matter What. So in
Okay.
this book, it is the collection of anecdotes, and these anecdotes are meant to help the people to face different situations in life, probably difficult situations in life, ups and downs. Every one of us go through that, and it is in those times that we need to have belief in ourselves and belief in God. So there are small anecdotes. If you want, I can relate one odd anecdote.
Please, sure. Sure, please.
There's a story of a Vaidya who was staying in a village, and he was very, had a great belief in God, and he had a system in his dispensary. He had a photograph of God, and every morning his wife used to give him a small slip of paper that whatever was required for the expenditure of the house, whatever items, she would list in that, and where he used to decide that for this I need 100, 200 rupees, whatever the amount, 500 rupees. So he used to see the patients, charge the fees from them, and when that amount was obtained, then he would tell the other patient that I will not take any fees from you. He would see those patients free. That was system because he believed that God is giving him on a day-to-day basis. Whatever is required for him and his family, God is providing that. Now, it so happened that he continues for so many years. And one day, his wife wrote on that slip of paper that now we need 5 lakh rupees because our daughter is to get married. So he was very much amazed that how can I get 5 lakh rupees now? I have got nothing, and one day I cannot get so many patients. Even in one year, I cannot get so many patients. I get 5 lakh rupees. But he said, okay. He submitted to God that God, you have taken care of me all these years, so God will take care of this also. And after a short while, one car stopped in front of his dispensary, and one person came inside, and he wished him, and then he said, "You recognized me?" He said, "No, I didn't recognize." He said, "You remember about 15 years back, we were traveling from here in the car and my car broke down on the road. So I sent the driver to get it repaired. And you saw from your dispensary and you called me inside. You made me sit in the shade. You called your daughter to give us cold water. And I was seeing that in that meantime, you told the patient that now today is the quota is over and you didn't take any money from the remaining patients. So that was something which impressed me a lot. And he said, we have a daughter who's of the same age as your daughter. So when we decided while going back, he said, me and my wife decided that Vedaji is doing such a great noble work. So when our daughter will get married, your daughter also will be getting married. So we
Wow.
started collecting things and buying things for the marriage. So we kept on buying two sets, one for my daughter, one for your daughter's marriage. So all that items are ready now, and next month our daughter is getting married. So I will send the items to you tomorrow. This is what the belief that how God helped him to get face this situation of life.
That's really beautiful. And I'm sure anybody who reads that book will have a greater faith in God.
Yes.
And definitely, you are doing a commendable job of, circulating it through text, through internet, your YouTube channel, and of course, your talks. So, coming to the YouTube channel, sir, your YouTube has been named very uniquely Guldasta. So could you throw some light about it? How did you conceptualize this idea? Why do you name it Guldasta, and what does it show? It has approximately 300 episodes, I believe. So what is it all about, sir?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, Guldasta is a word we thought about it because we have got 5 segments in this YouTube channel. One segment is called Suno Sachi Kahaniyan. In this, all the most of the stories of my books, real inspiring stories, they have been narrated in Hindi. By my wife. My wife is making most of the videos. So these are the stories narrated in Hindi. The second segment is Namaste Zindagi. In Namaste Zindagi, we have got these anecdotes of this book, Feeling Great No Matter What. They are narrated in Hindi. The book is in English. The next one is a very unique segment. It is called Kaise Banungi Mein Maa. Kaise Banungi Mein Maa, the concept is when a lady is about to become a mother, during the 9 months of pregnancy, when the child is in the womb of the mother, there is a very important thing. The thoughts of the mother, what the mother sees, what the mother thinks, what the mother uh, sees everything, hears everything, listens everything, watches anything. So all these have an effect on the personality of the child to be born. So in this segment, Kaise Banungi Mein Maa, there are 9 videos covering 9 months of pregnancy. That what a lady who's going to become a mother, what precautions, what lifestyle she should follow, what she should do, what she should not do, to ensure that the child who's born has got a good personality and he's free from worries and he's a positive thinking person. Another one is क्या जाने शादी से पहले. क्या जाने शादी से पहले, this segment is designed for people who are going to get married. As you all know, the most of the boys and girls these days, they choose the matrimonial sites for getting married. Now, there are so many features of the boys and prospective brides and bridegrooms listed there. So, what people generally see and what they should see, this is what this segment is all about. Generally, people,
Great.
when it comes to a boy, they'll see he should be very tall, very handsome, and he should be very having a good, very good income, good personality, good background, various things like this. And if it comes to a girl, they want the girl should be very beautiful. She should be looking like a heroine, a model. Yeah. Yet she should also be able to do all the work of the household. She should be able to respect the family also, carry forward traditions always. Sometimes these all features, this combination is difficult to find, whether in a boy or in a girl. And actually, they are not of much significance. What actually should be seen by the boy or the girl is the compatibility with the person. How much are they compatible with your thoughts, with your lifestyle, with your way of life, your vision of life? What is your view of life, your family, or you want to? It's not a model. We are getting a girl to become a wife, not a model or a film actress. And same for a boy. We don't want a model or we don't want a film star or a celebrity. So these are things which are told in this Kya Jaane Shaadi Se Pehle. The next one segment is learning from legends. What we are carrying on these sessions, learning from legends and becoming better for students. All the videos of these sessions are uploaded in this so that the people can see them in times to come.
That's really nice. And it's a really innovative idea to learn from the legends. Like, we have forgotten all our legends, honestly. And like, you have delivered 2 TED Talks also. It is like, if you talk about my wish list, one of them is to deliver a TED Talk. So I would definitely like to ask you what a person should look forward, how to prepare, whom to approach, how can they be TED Talk ready? In what way they can do that? So if you could enlighten us on that.
Very good question. In fact, a lot of people are not even aware of what this TED Talk or TEDx Talk is, and some people have got a faint idea. But there are some people also like you. I'm so happy to know that you are keen to deliver a TEDx Talk, and I'm sure you will be delivering one in the near future. So, coming to the TED, first, TED stands for Technology, Entertainment and Design, TED. It is a non-profit organization in New York headed by Chris Anderson in 2001. And the purpose of this organization is to share powerful ideas in a short, engaging, and impactful way. Now, this TED has an annual conference once in a year where they have speakers who deliver their talks. That is in US, New York. But there is something called TEDx. TEDx means that they have got some guidelines. And these guidelines are followed by some organizations who want to organize or host these TEDx talks all over the world. They are conducted in almost more than 130 countries nowadays. So the guidelines, whoever wants to follow them, they take a license from TED, and that is what TEDx means, independently organized event. TEDx means independently organized. So I am sharing some of the guidelines which will be useful for the prospective speakers also. First is the talk should be between 5 to 18 minutes long. It should not be even 1 second more than 18 minutes. The maximum time limit is 18 minutes. And it should focus on one clear idea. They say the idea should be one. You should not have multiple, so many different ideas in one talk. And first of all, it's not a speech, it's not a lecture. It is a conversation with the audience. You don't involve the audience actually. You don't, not a interactive session, but the way you are delivering, if you see the YouTube, you will find something, you are as if talking to the audience. They are understanding it and they're accepting it, they're feeling it. It says how you make them feel. What is important is, it is not to show off your knowledge, not to show off anything. It is to make them feel, to transform their thoughts. Now, the talk should not contain politics, religion. There should be no trade promotion, no publicity. These are guidelines of TED. It can be in any language. There's no language barrier. All over the world, they have got translators who will translate into different languages. Now, TED Talks, they are organized in different schools, colleges, universities, all over the country, all over the world, in fact. And if anyone is interested in delivering a TEDx talk, I would recommend the following. First, you should watch at least 50 TEDx talks on YouTube attentively. Why I say that? Because by watching them, you'll get to know the presentation, the way they're delivered, how the idea is being shared. So you'll get a fairly good idea of the parameters, the modalities of that. Secondly, after watching these TEDx talks, and if possible, attend some TEDx talks also, because they're happening all over the different places. So I'll tell you how you can get to know where it is happening, and also you can go and attend them. It is always on invitation, so you have to first register for attending it and go and attend it. After doing that, you will be able to figure out one idea which is close to your heart and you feel passionate about sharing it. The idea is very important. I'm repeatedly saying it is an idea which is very important. The tagline is ideas worth sharing, they say. So actually what you should do, there's a TEDx website, which you can open the site where all the TEDx talks happening all over the world are listed. Now in that there are drop-down boxes. So you drop down to select the country, India. Then you select the city where you want to give the talk, where you can, maybe your own city or maybe somewhere you can travel to give the talk. Now select the date also. There's a drop down giving the date. Normally the speakers have finalized 3 to 4 months. So don't select a talk which is happening next month. You should give 3 to 4 months time and target those TED talks which are happening about 6 months from now. Because then you will have a clear chance of putting up your application and getting selected for that.
Okay.
Now on the site you will find, once you see the particular TEDx talk, they'll give you the name of the place, the date, the organization which is conducting it. And once you click on that, you will be able to see the name of the organizer. Now, sometimes you find the Facebook profile or the social media profile of that person, wherein you can get to know how to contact that person. Sometimes they give the email ID, sometimes they give the Facebook profile. So you can send a message to them also that you're interested in delivering the talk. And every TEDx talk, they also have a theme. So you should first see whether you align with the theme. Sometimes, like the TEDx talk which I delivered in April recently, this month, they had 3 themes. One is AI, artificial intelligence. The second was mental health. The third was sustainability. So sometimes they have one theme, sometimes they have more than one theme. So you should also see this, whether your idea or your theme fits into this or not. That also has to be seen before you apply for that. Now, when you choose the TEDx talk, the place, the date, where you want to go, there's a speaker nomination form online. So you have to fill up that form. Now, in that form, they ask for certain details. First, they'll ask your personal details, your profile, your LinkedIn profile, email ID, social media handles, whatever you have. You have to mention those. Then the unique idea that you want to share. This is very important. It has to be clearly mentioned what is the unique idea and also the key takeaway in one sentence. That is, they want to know what will the audience feel, what will they benefit from it. Your talk means one sentence you have to mention the key takeaway.
Great.
Then also you have to mention any article, any videos, any talks which describe your profile, something which you have done, deliver a talk, or you had some other something to support what you are doing. Any website if you have, all those you have to mention there. Then they also ask you whether the work which you are doing has created a measurable and visible impact in your community. That you have to mention, there's a column for that. And why this idea is relevant today. That also you have to mention in the speaker nomination form.
That's amazing.
And one thing I would advise you to fill up the speaker nomination form. Don't fill up for just one, fill up for at least 10 to 15 TEDx talks happening
Okay.
different places so that you get at least an invitation from at least one of them. But don't be disheartened if you don't get an invitation. Keep on filling this form. Keep on preparing yourself. At the same time, also, when you start filling this form, much before that, you should have prepared your talk. There are so many videos on YouTube, so many books are available, so many articles available, how to prepare your TEDx talk. That will help you go through them, prepare your talk. And one thing which is very important is after you get an invitation, then you have to practice your talk and practice it so much. There are some places where they have a teleprompter, I believe, but it is always better to memorize your talk and not only memorize, internalize it. And when I say internalize, it means that you should repeat it so many times that even in your sleep, if you get up, you can recite that talk, say that talk, deliver that talk
Absolutely.
without
Absolutely.
forgetting, without any hesitation, without any mix up. So this is what they, so after you get an invitation by email, once your proposal is accepted, they will send you a mail inviting you. And then after that, they'll ask you for your details and a detailed script also, word to word, what you're going to speak. It has to be submitted to them. The curator is there, the team is there, they will approve it, and then they will call you, welcome you, deliver your TEDx talk. One thing more which I say, TEDx talk does not pay any money to speakers, nor do they ask for any money or fees from anyone.
That's
This
really
is
nice.
brief, and if anyone needs any help or guidance in future, please feel free to contact me.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And you have also taken some sessions, like you've started in the YouTube channel also, you said, learning from the legends for the students and becoming better, right? So,
Yes.
what is that about, and what do you actually do in that?
In fact, these are the sessions which we celebrate in Learning from Legend. We celebrate the birth anniversaries of great leaders, social workers, sportsmen, scientists like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Ratan Tata, Swami Vivekanand, Subhash Chandra Bose. Recently, this month, we had a session about Ramnath Goenka. So what I do is we select the leadership qualities, 8 qualities of these great people. And we select 8 students from different schools and colleges. Now, we do that 10 days before the event is going to happen. This is an online session, mostly it is a Zoom session. So in these 10 days, we guide the students how to prepare their talk for 4 minutes. The time is 4 minutes. Every student speaks only for 4 minutes, not more. And they deliver their talk. We give them certificates of participation. This is all free of cost. Also, there's an anchor. One of the students does the job of an anchor. So they are also getting to practice on this. There are 2 purposes of this, objectives of these sessions. One is to develop leadership qualities in these students, and the second is to give them an opportunity to hone their public speaking skills by speaking on this platform. The second one is called Becoming Better. It's a series of a similar kind. We also do that once in a month. In that, we are taking up topics which are not covered in schools and colleges. Like, for example, we did a session on mobile addiction. As you all know, mobile addiction is a problem faced by people of all ages. Another session we did on how to handle stress in teenagers. We did a session on OTT platforms. You see, all these web series, whether it's on Amazon Prime or any other platform, they are all web series are containing abusive language. Every third sentence there is abusive language. They have obscenity. They have violence. Now these are having a damaging effect on the psyche of the youth. In fact, psyche of everyone. So we guide the students. We make them aware that this is not. You should avoid this kind of web series because it happens that sometimes you keep on seeing 2, 3 web series every day. Then this abusive language becomes a part of your vocabulary. Even if you go for an interview and you will automatically, unknowingly use that abusive language. And then you'll cut a very sorry figure and maybe you lose all the job or whatever you're going for.
Right.
So these sessions, we also took a session on fast food slow poison. There is so much of damage which this fast food is doing to the lives of people all over the world. So this kind of sessions we are taking in Becoming Better, and all these sessions, they are uploaded on the YouTube channel and we share it with the people who could not attend on time, and they can go for it subsequently. And through the medium of this talk, I would request all students, teachers, principals, directors, owners of schools and colleges, they can contact me and we can give their students a chance to take part in the sessions. It's all free of cost. We will give them certificates of participation. Also, we give a prize of a book to the most impressive speaker of the session. They can talk in English or Hindi. That choice is there.
That's really wonderful. And like when we talk about legends, definitely you are inspiring me every second of this show, every moment of this show. So I definitely would like to know who is your role model and who is your inspiration, sir?
In fact, I've learned many things from many people, but the most favorite person of mine is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He is my role model. I have learned a lot of things from him, and I have yet to find a person who's more inspiring than him. Such a simple personality, down to earth, simple, and he was doing every time good for the country. His every role which he played, right from his childhood, when he was then later on scientist, then he became the president, he has inspired millions of people across the world. He has always been a teacher. He has been interacting with students, and even in his last days, he was taking a session in IIM Shillong. So I have learned so many things from him. As a president, I have not found any other person who has been such an extraordinary, and he's rightly called the people's president.
Very true, very true. A big salute to him as well, sir. And sir, like, what from this platform would you like to send a message to the youth that they can imbibe in their lives to make their lives better? And I would say better and happier.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, these days the youth, they are so much better off than our generation in terms of access to knowledge, access to so many things. Internet has given a big boom to them. They are studying in the best of schools and colleges, most of them. But one thing which I feel is, I would say that all the youth of today, they are the future citizens of tomorrow. They are the leaders, they are the scientists, they are the sportsmen. The country is going to be in their hands. So I would urge them to become good human beings,
Wow.
responsible citizens. They should have virtues like kindness, compassion, care for human beings, care for the environment, love for the country. These are the values which will make you different. Another thing which I would like to tell the youth is respect for the girl child. There are so many crimes which are happening against girls and women in the country. And remember, character is most important. Because if you see not only in India, but all over the world, people who had a loose character, because of that, they lost everything they had and even they went to prison. So remember this thing, your values, your character, your personality, this thing will determine how you will be remembered in life, what you will do in life, and how much success is not only in terms of money, it is in terms of what kind of person you become for the society. And always believe in God. Always be grateful to God, thankful to God. If you abide by these values, you'll certainly become a better person and a responsible citizen.
True, sir. And like we also say that generally parents are the ones who mold the future or the character or shape the thoughts of the child. So from here, how would you relate it to the parents? Like what should they do? How, because every parent wants to do the best for their child. But then, what message would you like to give to them so that they can actually have a, if not a role model child, but at least a child who's a good citizen, who is a good human being, and who has respect and dignity for girls, basically. So, what would you suggest to the parents? If you are the parent, what would you do for your child?
Very good question. In fact, at the outset, I would like to say that when we buy any gadget, whether it's a refrigerator or a TV or a mobile, there's a instruction manual, or a car instruction manual is there, which tells you do's and don'ts, how to handle it, how to take care. But the child suddenly comes into the lives of people without any instruction manual. Now, the parents are so busy with the race for life, they don't have time, they have no formal training, no knowledge of parenting. Maybe earlier we used to have grandparents and the house elders used to be there, and joint family system was there, so the children were taken care of. But nowadays it is mostly nuclear families, so the parents really don't know themselves how to take care of the child. And another thing is this mobile. It has damaged everything. Because if you see the parents, a small child is there, maybe 6 months, 1 year, they give him the mobile. He's trying, letting keep quiet. He's not eating food, given the mobile. He'll eat something, he'll see something on a mobile, on a tablet, whatever. Now, this addiction to the social media is so much damaging to the child. The child becomes passive, the child is not able to speak properly, not able to do something creative. And as the child grows, it happens when the child is a little grown up, he becomes angry if you take away the mobile from him. He's so much addicted to the mobile. Every time they want to see the mobile. Now, for that thing, you cannot blame the child. It is the parents who have to first get rid of the mobile. If the parents sit down with the child, talk to the child, tell them stories, talk to them, interact with them, then the child will also learn to speak, learn to interact. So the parents have to first of all keep their mobile away, at least when they're interacting with the child. It's not good for people of all ages. The mobile screen time these days, an average individual spends 5 to 6 hours in a day on mobiles, on reels, on Instagram, Facebook, all these things. They are simply a waste of time. It should be limited use of the mobile. Secondly, I would say for the parent, when the child grows up, let the child follow the career which they are have an aptitude for it, whatever they like to do. Also give them the options, give them the opportunity, give them the information through the career counselor or through the internet, what are the various career options open, and let them make a choice. Do not impose your choice on the child. Something generally it happens, the parent force their ambitions. I could not become a doctor, I want my son to become a doctor. This is not a good thing. So I have seen so many parents who are very, very broad-minded, very much supportive. They have allowed their children to choose unconventional careers. Second is, if you have to spend a lot of time with the child of all ages, especially teenagers, all the parent need to spend time with them. Only then will the child be able to confide everything in you. What is happening in school? There are so many challenges with the teenagers face. And if they know that the parents are available to them, they talk to them every day, they are more like friends, the child will not hide anything from the parents, which is very much required these days. Because the child finds that the parent is not available, the parent is not accessible, then they find other people, maybe outside, with whom to confide. And that is the time when most of the children go in the wrong direction. They face problems. So one thing, then again, the parents should instill the values of spiritualism, belief in God. That environment has to be there in the home. That there should be some kind of feeling that the child should remember that there is some God Almighty whom we believe, and respect for elders, values, all the values, honesty, integrity, compassion, kindness, all these the children learn, they see, not by hearing, but by what they find their parents are doing. For them, the first role model is the parents only. If the parent tells the child, telephone aaya, tell somebody I'm not at home, then there's not a good message you're giving to the child.
Absolutely.
You're telling him to tell lies. So be honest, be good in yourself. A good parent will always bring up a good child. Remember this.
Setting example, setting a pathway.
Yes.
And it should be like your child should come and tell you, like, especially I feel good about it because my son often tells me that I don't love you both. I just respect both of you. That is important. So
Yes.
that's a real good thing कि मैं और secondly he says कि मैं तुम लोगों से डरता नहीं हूँ, मैं सिर्फ तुम लोगों की इज्जत थोड़ी ज्यादा करता हूँ. So
Very
that
nice.
means a lot.
Very
And
nice.
definitely, this session has been an insight into like the sentence that I began with. Yeah, unless you die yourself, you cannot get reach to the heaven. So if we do not make it better, nobody else would come and make it better for us. So in order to make the world better place, we have to make it better for ourselves. And definitely, your approach, I must say, right from spiritualism to YouTube to legends to role models and then to the talks, it has been actually a guldasta. This show has been a guldasta of several things and a multifarious approach, and many colorful flowers in this talk that we had. So it has been actually mind blowing, and it will be really really helpful to all the viewers who are going to see this. And I really urge, and it's going to be helpful to everybody, each and everyone, people of all ages, people of all class, cadre, or anything. And definitely it's going to make the world a better place to live in. So with that note, thank you so much, sir. And it was an enlightening evening for me personally, and for definitely for all our viewers it will be, whoever watches it. So thank you once again, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaskar, sir.